Hi, I'm Igor Smirnov, and this is a continuation of the video lesson Breaking Stereotypes. Here we discuss the common chess ideas which are not correct objectively. In this video, I'm going to analyze an attack on the Hfile. Let me show you what I mean. I'm in the situation like this. Black castled and has a fianchettoed bishop on the g7. In such positions, white can play h4, h5 and try to develop an attack on the Kingside. Many players think that this plan is very powerful and is nearly winning for white. In fact, quite an opposite situation happens most often. Okay, now let's imagine what will happen in the future. Let's say white played h4, h5, took on the g6 and black recaptured. After that, we will see the position like this. Next, white will transfer the queen on the Hfile, and it looks like the white's attack is going smoothly and really white will be winning soon. However, here it's not for black just to remove the rook from the f8, let's say to the e8 or to any other square, and after that, after queen h7 and king f8, nothing really happens. The white's attack is over. Moreover, we can triple the white's heavy pieces on the Hfile. Still, white has not enough resources to continue an attack. We can give white, let's say, a knight on the f3, and still white has no attack in continuation. Okay, let's give something else to white, the bishop on the c1. The bishop will be more helpful, but even in this situation, the white's attack is not so much dangerous. Okay, white will play bishop h6, black will take, and then black can easily escape on the e7. Most probably black has some pawns there in the center, and that's why the king may feel pretty comfortable even in the e7 square. Okay, let's try to imagine another situation. White will put the rook in front of his queen. Then it will look like this. Generally, this should be better for white because white can penetrate the black's territory onto the h7 or even h8 squares. Nevertheless, still black has a very simple way how to stop the white's attack. Black just needs to play king f8. After that, the white's move rook h8 doesn't do much. Black can take, or black can play king e7 right now, and still white has no effective continuation of this attack. Okay, I'll show you one more idea. The main defender of the black's king is the bishop g7. That's why white may try to exchange it. In this case, white will play bishop h6. However, it's not dangerous for black. Black only needs to avoid an exchange. He can play bishop h8 or bishop f6, and after that nothing happens for black. If white moves the bishop back, black will do the same. Bishop g7 is just a repetition. White has a nice idea, bishop f8, but nevertheless it doesn't bring any troubles for black because black will simply play bishop f6. Now after queen h6, though white has a lot of pieces around the black's king, but white has no threats at all. Now we can see a quite similar situation, but white has 3 heavy pieces on the Hfile. Of course, it strengthens the white's attack, and here, after bishop h6 and bishop h8, really white can win the game. White has the move bishop f8, and it's useful to remember this idea because it's a typical tactic, and in this situation it's winning for white. The key point of this idea is that after bishop f6, white can now play queen h8, and after bishop takes and rook takes, it's mate. That's why white needs to have the rook and the bishop there, because right now the black's king is mated. Now I'd like to make a little overview. In order to develop an attack on the Hfile, white needs to spend really a lot of time. White needs to play h4, h5, then take on the g6, then bring all his heavy pieces there on the h-file, and even if white makes all these things, after that white has no real attacking ideas. As we already analyzed, after queen h7 and king f8, white has no idea how to continue an attack. Another great thing for black here is that the only black's defender, the only bishop g7, withstands 3 white's heavy pieces on the h-file. This gives black great possibilities for a successful counterattack on the center and on the queen side, because black will have much more quantity of the pieces there. Okay, these were some general ideas about this attack, and now let's see some concrete examples. In this position, white played h4. As we already know, this attack is not so powerful as most players think, and that's why if white tries to develop this quick attack, black should counterattack. So he played d5, and let's see what happened after that. White took on the c6, b takes, rook d1, queen c7. It's a typical positional sacrifice for black. If white takes the d5 pawn, black will have a lot of open lines and diagonals and will easily take the pawn back. So white played h5, he's trying to develop his plan. Knight takes e4, knight takes, h takes. Of course, black should recapture by the h-pawn here, and in many similar situations. As we already know, open h-file doesn't give much for white, so you shouldn't worry about it too much. H takes. And now let's take a look at this position more precisely. It looks like white already opened the h-file and has good attacking chances there. However, let's think what white can do really in this situation. Let's say white will play bishop h6. Of course, black can very easily protect his position by playing queen e5. And if white takes on the g7, black will recapture by the queen. Moreover, in this position, white has no threats actually, so black can do any move. I will just play bishop e6 for black, just to show you my idea. And after that, white takes on the g7, king takes, and queen h6 check, king f6. And what white can do now? White has no idea, no attacking ideas, while black is threatening rook h8, maybe queen e5, something like this. So I just like to show you that this attack, even if white realizes all his attacking ideas, it still doesn't give anything for white. Perhaps the best thing which white can do in this position is to make a draw by making a checks, queen h4 and queen h6, a perpetual check. Okay, let's go back. In the game, white tried another attacking attempt. He played bishop d4. Of course, black can play e5 here. However, he has better decision. He can play rook d8 using the pin. And in the game, white made a blunder. He played queen c3. And after that, black took rook takes d4 and queen b6, winning material because of the pin. This example is pretty simple, but I just tried to show you that the white's attack is not dangerous for black. Okay, let's take a look at another example.